Welcome, everyone. Dr. Thor here. Get ready for noses. Well, here we go again with another problem, which apparently the bought-off politicians and their underlings, as well as all the corrupt enforcement people, are allowing such horrible things to be brought into the world. And that means any food product from China cannot be trusted. Their soils are highly polluted. They use huge amounts of chemicals. So any food you get there, and you'd be surprised how much food comes from China. I'm surprised a country that claims they have trouble feeding their population is growing foods to export. Isn't that interesting? And a lot of the foods you get, particularly jams and other things, which are expensive berries and so forth, and the reason why they tend to be a little more reasonable sometimes in jars is because it's all grown in China, and it's loaded with poisons, heavy metals, lead, etc. You can trust nothing from there. A lot of herbs are grown there as well. Well, these are things that you really have to avoid. But unfortunately, you have trouble knowing if anything from China is good. So in general, if you can avoid it, avoid it. And if you can't, then you should get inspected products, particularly herbs, which I've seen coming into the United States, and they're inspected. If you're buying direct from some people, what are you getting? The same thing with India. We don't know what we're getting there. The amount of fraud from there is unbelievable. Now, there are some top manufacturers in India that I assume are putting out good products. They've been making different supplements and herbs for probably hundreds of years. But we assume they're good, but I'm not really sure. So you have to be very careful what kind of additives are there, what is the problems from a lot of these manufacturers. But it's something you do have to be very careful of. India, there may be some ways to get more government, again, inspected. Supposedly that's good. Well, everybody's bribed, how can we tell anyway? India just had a huge problem with the corruption in the cricket matches. They were all fixed. So this is a real problem there. And China is pouring out one toxin after another. Any type of pet supply in particular, you can guarantee is toxic coming from China. So you don't want to get anything that is made for pets there. It's even a problem since everything is made in China because we've sold out, or I should say our politicians have. And they're not cheap anymore. The Chinese are not stupid. They suck you in, and now they're raising prices as well. We need to bring back manufacturing to all of the West, and particularly America. Whatever, same old story. Nothing changes, nothing ever will. Just understand that, and then life is simple. So the whole idea is all this stuff from China, every single bit of it is toxic junk. And how we can find the ones that aren't is a great question. But the bottom line is that you don't want to consume this. But it's hidden in a lot of your foods and you'll never know it. As I said, there are all sorts of, most of what I understand, most of the garlic sold in the United States, almost 99% of it, all comes from China. So, and this goes with a whole bunch of other, what we would call condiments or herbs, that are grown in China and then brought into the United States, because these tend to last longer, I guess, so they can be shipped, which also means you're getting very old garlic, etc. But this is a sad, sad situation that has to be watched at. So if you can buy locally grown condiments like this, garlic, etc., which you shouldn't be eating anyway, it's no good for you. But the whole idea is that you have to be very, very careful. But it's in a lot of products and we don't know about it. As I've mentioned, particularly berries and so forth, things that are used in pies, a lot of things that are used by giant manufacturers will buy these by the hundreds of tons from China and mix it into their foods, whether you like it or not, because they've gotten it much less expensive. Well, we have serious problems, and serious problems with taking in these toxic foods are going to compromise an already weak immune system. This is where we have to be careful. You need to get out there and try and support pure foods, organic foods, all these things if you can afford it. Now, the problem is organic foods are very expensive. And of course, this becomes a problem when you start adding $1 or two per item, which means your monthly food budget probably goes up anywhere from 40 to 50%, and people are having trouble meeting their bills already. But this is something to keep in mind. Always spend more, eat less is the way you do it, and eating less is going to be good for everybody. But all these things are part of the hidden toxins that we know nothing about. The actual ingredients listed on any manufactured product, even if it's manufactured in the United States, a food product, most probably has Chinese toxic ingredients in it. We just don't know. And of course, the manufacturers aren't going to tell you. They're only worried about their bottom line. But this is one of the secret evils of this society, is the hidden products or food ingredients in our foods. And as I said, it's amazing how the Chinese can grow a bunch of food and export it, but claim not to have food for themselves. So this is another one of the many horrific problems with the, quote, evil empire of China. It would be nice to think that so-called other groups of people would be more credible or honest than other ones. It's untrue. The entire world is a sewer of corruption, no matter where it comes from. Certainly, the West is not much better with paid-off people and the lies of that. All the worlds are using these ingredients, whether you're in Europe, South America, etc. These are being bought by food processors, and that's what's in it. I've recently come to find out that a lot of canned vegetables, again, because they can sit in cans for years, come from China. Whoa! It may say libby, libby, libby on the label, but it's from China, China, China. What? Wow. Here we go again. We've even given that away to these people who are basically want to kill us, apparently. So the whole idea is, here we go again. And this is not just the United States. Most canned foods are coming from all over the world. So all of Europe is full of these Chinese canned foods, as is the United States, as is so many other things. Where does Heinz get their tomatoes from? I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, if they're buying tons of it, they may be getting it from China, or maybe even a processed goo from them. We don't know. We should know. These are some of the serious problems out there that we don't know about. So jams and jellies, they're all, because of the expense of berries, they're all coming from China that are in most mixtures. How do we know? What is better? Well, we don't know, and this is something that needs to be looked into. Where are the ingredients that you think are coming from domestic sources coming really from? Many, if not all of them, may not be domestic at all. Pretty scary. Well, let's add this on the cherry on the top of the rotten, corrupt, evil world we live in that nobody really cares about. We keep voting in the same idiots in all of the political system. We keep supporting a rotten, corrupt system, and then we wonder why it don't work. Well, it's pretty obvious why it doesn't work, and you can't get in there as an honest person and survive. You'll either be killed, pushed out, or you'll be minimized to the point that you can't be effective. But that's because it's a whole problem. Politicians stay in office almost all their lives. There are representatives, senators, congressmen who have been in Congress their entire life. Every year they get voted back in because the world is going so great. We can thank that. The same thing with judges and everything else. Once you get into these positions, they're constantly re-voted in. If that voting is real or not, who knows. But you ever heard of a person who knew a judge or voted for that? No, they vote for the incumbent like an idiot. I always vote for the non-incumbents because I think the world sucks. Let's get some others in there because these people haven't done anything. And, of course, the judges fall with the police departments being highly corrupt, rotten people. So the whole idea is that we need to get all these people out of there, but we need to have a more extended list of our ingredients. Are these products coming from China or not? And they don't want to do this, manufacturers, because they know that you will not tend to buy products like that. You see, strawberries, China on there. People are going to say, I won't eat. At least a lot of smart people would. So the manufacturers don't want to do that. But until that there is more truth in labeling, we are going to get stuck with this, and it's going to go on and on and on. So knowledge is really important. Things change when you, not at the ballot box, they change from your wallet. You vote with your wallet. Don't support toxic industries. Don't support toxic products, and then they're automatically change. And automatically, people that come out and prove they have good stuff will be supported. They will grow. And the people that don't and put out toxins won't. Now, that's how capitalism, is supposed to work. Well, capitalism is a rigged game. There's no free trade in any way because massive amounts of corruption and ridiculous regulations that don't assist the proper way that capitalism works. But capitalism is based on greed, and as long as you have greed, you're going to have liars and deceivers. They'll tell you anything to sell it to you, but they will not give you the truth. And we need to get truth, and that's why we're forced to have government agencies, if they're not corrupt, to assist us. So that's how the world works. But remember, people out there, there is serious problems with what's in your food, and you need to be aware of this and try and understand and look into, well, keeping your food pure. So we don't know if a, quote, organic manufacturer, are those organics that come from credible companies and countries, or is it organic coming from China? Which means we only use 90% of the toxic instead of 100% toxic substances on those. So there is no credibility there, and as long as there's corruption in this world, you'll never know if anything is good. Most of these organic foods that people think are, well, I wonder how many are tested consistently to find out if they truly are. I remember many, many years ago, they went into health food stores and pulled these off of the shelves in the 80s and found that most of them had all sorts of pesticide residues on it. So somebody's making a lot of money either lying about it or misrepresenting what they were selling and selling it at a higher price. And that's the one problem with health food stores in general, is that their prices tend to be high. Now, are their ingredients really the better ones? Have they been tested? Do we know? Well, they really haven't. So, again, to a certain extent, it's a crapshoot of whether you win or not in the actual battle of life and the battle for your mind, body, and soul. Until next time.